This is Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. My name is Alex and I am playing the Shifting Sands mod. That's a 2006 mod by author Mammoth. And this is Monday, week 1, January 2006. The very first episode of Monday Night Raw on this save, and the very first show I've ever booked in TEW 2020 as well. So I've played some wrestling booking simulators in the past. Most of the much older ones than this particular game, and I certainly don't claim to be an expert on the year 2006 or with these games either, as a matter of fact. But I have been looking forward to giving this new edition a try, and so I'm creating this video log as a little keepsake to chart my journey, and hopefully you enjoy coming along with me. So without further ado, this is how we're going to start it, with the owner of the company himself, Vince McMahon, arriving to announce a main event match tonight to decide a new number one contender for John Cena's WWE title. So this is Vince announcing Chris Masters, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle and Carlito in the same match, a four-way match, and the winner of that match will be the number one contender and will face John Cena next week at New Year's Revolution. So that does not leave a lot of time before the pay-per-view, and it's one of the downsides of this mod, unfortunately. Starting in week 1 of January like that, it does not leave a lot of time to build to some pretty incredibly big shows that WWE has around this time. But we're going to keep it with the default settings anyway, and just try our best and see what we can come up with in the short amount of time that we've got. So, strong start to the show, thanks to Vince and this segment here, and hopefully that puts the right foot forward here as we continue into our next segment on here, Monday Night Raw. So, our next segment, we've got Triple H backstage with Shawn Michaels. They've just heard the announcement that Vince has made that Shawn Michaels is going to be could be the number one contender by the end of this night, and Triple H is there unexpectedly to greet Shawn and says that he's going to pledge Shawn his help in the main event. So, presumably Triple H here wouldn't mind seeing Shawn Michaels in the title picture because he's a man that he knows very well, with them being friends. So maybe Triple H has got something up his sleeve there when he himself gets back into the title picture. Having Michaels in there may be preferable to, say, Kurt or one of the other guys. Either way, Triple H pledging to support Shawn Michaels, a bit of a suspicious move for someone like him. In real life, I think it was around this time that these two were teasing a DX reunion. Whether that will come to pass in this save remains to be seen, but either way, a bit of a cryptic message here from Triple H saying that he's got Shawn Michaels' back ahead of the main event, so we'll see what Shawn makes of that as the show continues. Okay, so then we've got our first match. So here it is, decent match where Greg Helms defeats Eugene. A quick match for Greg, all things considered. And this is just an opportunity to get Greg some time in the ring here so that we can pivot him to being one of our main mid-card players. The roster is in a bit of a dire state at the start of this year, I think, when you look at it at its whole. And we desperately need to elevate some younger stars and get some fresh blood further up the card. So in order to do that, we need to improve the overness ratings of these guys and get them some time in the ring as well and get some shine on them. So step 1 here for Greg is a quick win over Eugene, but we're not quite done yet, because in the next segment we've got a nice promo from Greg as well, where he says this will be his year and anyone with a title belt needs to hold it tight, says Greg, or well, words to that effect anyway. So nice promo here from Greg, as I say, kind of pitching him now as kind of a mid-card player that we'll have in the future, and this is just sowing the seeds already for that eventuality. So nice stuff from Greg as we move on. Okay, now we've got Mickie James and Trish Stratus. So you think about 2006, this storyline usually comes to mind as one of the best ones that WWE did that year. So a little preface before I go too much further. The mod Shifting Sands is quite well put together, in the fact that every storyline, a real-life storyline that was happening in 2006 in January, is actually pre-built into the mod, and they've got some real wonderful write-ups to kind of give you some inspiration. So being the fool that I am, I promptly deleted all of it, with one exception, and this is the one exception. This is the storyline I've decided to keep, and up to this point, I'm going to honour what has already come before. So, a little preface here. Mickie James debuting in October, I think it was, of 2005. Instantly gets thrown into the picture with Trish Stratus as her obsessed fan, and Mickie James and Trish have been sort of awkwardly aligned in this rather tense friendship. And it was this week, week 1 in January, in real life, where Mickie James actually confessed her affection for Trish, and the angle, the storyline took a much darker turn, with Mickie becoming more of an obsessed stalker in character. Now, whilst I want to maintain a similar spirit for the storyline that I'm going to do, I am going to slightly deviate away from some elements and kind of put my own spin on it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So where does that leave us then? Mickie James here meets up with Trish Stratus backstage, and she hesitates to confess something to Trish. Trish herself can only think about their upcoming pay-per-view match. Like I say, we're honouring what's come before, so Trish Stratus and Mickie James are booked to face each other at New Year's Revolution for the women's title. That is a match that will be going ahead next week. Only Mickie was ready to confess something and didn't get a chance to on this occasion, so we'll have to see how that plays out when these two next meet. Something that I'm very much looking forward to as the month progresses. And then on to our next segment here, we've got Edge, who arrives to say that the era of the rated R superstar is imminent. So this is Edge and his partner in crime, Lita, here. This is just an opportunity for Edge to kind of strut his stuff a little bit, get himself some good promo time, get himself over. He's one of the very few wrestlers on this save that actually has anything that looks like hot momentum as well. As a worker, so we need to take advantage of that while we can, and this is an opportunity to showcase Edge. Also remember that he is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder at this time as well, the very first Money in the Bank briefcase holder, so no doubt this will come into play in his promo here as well, maybe making reference to it. But so far, Edge is kind of saying what's in store as 2006 rolls around with Lita by his side. So good stuff here from Edge, and big things expected, no doubt, from him in the future as well. Okay, so next we've got another segment here where Big Show and Kane have sort of barged into Vince McMahon's office, and they're demanding that they defend their tag team titles in a violent match tonight. And Vince, well, being the enabler he is saying, well, go for it. So there's going to be a couple of opponents waiting in the ring for the tag team champions here, Kane and Big Show. So talking about 2006 and the state of their roster, well, the tag team division is in a real dire state this year. To the fact that Kane and Big Show are your champions, I guess, kind of bears that out. So something very drastic is going to have to be done with this division in order to fix things here. So I'm just going to reveal it now. I think one of the best things to do here is to unify the two sets of tag belts between SmackDown and Raw at some point down the line here, to just make it easier to book and hopefully get some semblance of order with the teams that we've got, and try to create some sort of workable division, because at the moment it's in a very sorry state. So we're going to work with what we've got. We've got Big Show and Kane as the champions for the moment, so this is our opportunity just to set up a match for them to get a quick defense in and hopefully establish some sort of foundation that we can build on. So we're not expecting a classic match next by any means, but here it is, next segment. Okay, it could have been a lot worse. There you go. So it's just a quick match here with Big Show and Kane defeating a couple of the old boys there in V Squared. And this is also a match, as we said, a no DQ, violent brawl here, just to satisfy our sports entertainment quota, as we have to do on this mod. Ruthless aggression indeed. So that satisfies that. But no doubt there'll be a ton of penalties here just because of a lack of overness, just how long in the tooth kind of Val Venus and Viscera are as an act. But they fill a slot on the card here. They let us check off that box. And more importantly as well, it actually gives Big Show and Kane a title defense to add to their tally as well, so get some sort of shine on those belts. There'll be quite a few of these little changes here as well, with this being a fresh save, where we've got various characters with poor gimmicks that need to be changed. So that's just something that we need to bear in mind as well. We need to freshen up people's gimmicks so that we can avoid getting any kind of negatives down here in the future. So that's it for the tag team champions on this episode. Certainly not classic TV by any means, but it filled a role, so can't be too upset about it. Okay, and then we've got another segment here. So this is Armando Estrada debuting much earlier than happened in real life to hype the arrival of Umaga at New Year's Revolution. So I've decided to bring forward Umaga's debut just because, I mean, let's face it, Umaga's quite awesome. So I'm sure we can do something with him. At the same time, we're going to have to sacrifice a few segments here because we are talking about characters that are very new. They need to get time in front of the camera. They need to get themselves over. So, like I said, we're going to have to just bear with some pretty low ratings for now until we can tweak people's gimmicks and kind of sort some things out on that end as well. But see, our gimmicks are already improving by the looks of it. So that's what we kind of need in order to set us up for the future. So, quick segment there. Then we got another segment here with Rob Conway, of all people, disrespecting the old timers in WWE. So he hits the ring, grabs a mic, and just goes off on this weird rant about the old timers, apparently, which prompts Lawler to get up from the commentary desk and slug him down. So a quick segment here to kind of get Jerry in the mix, getting physical here. Why? We're not quite sure, but the next segment kind of reveals why, and there you have it, much better. So Hulk Hogan, still under contract at this time, as a special attraction, comes by and backstage maybe where the King is getting his fist taped after slugging Rob Conway. Hogan has to say, you know what, King, I was impressed that you took that youngster down a peg, and your Lawler and Hogan share a moment there on this inaugural Raw in 2006, shaking each other's hands. So nice little segment here from two legends, just to give us a little bit of a boost in the middle of the show. Moving on. Okay, so now we've got Ric Flair, who's backstage with Shelton Benjamin, and Ric Flair is happy to accept Benjamin's challenge to an IC title match next. So Ric Flair at this time, Intercontinental Champion, still got plenty of heat and experience that we can use to kind of build up some of our younger stars. But for the moment, he is the champion, and we are going to respect that and see what we can kind of pull together as a storyline. For now, though, we've got Shelton Benjamin, who wants a match, and so we're going to get to that right now in the next segment. And there you have it. So a good heat and decent wrestling for this one. So not too bad. And Ric Flair gets himself a win over Shelton Benjamin. But of course he has to do it in slimy fashion because he is Ric Flair. Even when he's a babyface, he's our scumbag, I suppose. So that gives Ric Flair a defense of the WWE Intercontinental title. Gives Shelton a little bit of an out there for his loss. Hopefully won't hurt him too badly, because I'm sure we'll be able to do some more stuff with Benjamin in the future. But on this occasion, we just need to give Ric Flair a win, establish him as the Intercontinental Champion, so that we can tell some kind of story to do with the belt there to hopefully get some guys over. So nice stuff here from Shelton and Rick as we move into our next segment. And this is just a quick segment where Ric Flair celebrates in style. So he's the nature boy. He's just won. And even though he did it by cheating, he's going to celebrate. And that's Rick just taking up a bit of camera time as he is wont to do. So yeah, good stuff from Rick here as we move on. Okay, and our next segment, just a real quick one with Carlito and Chris Masters discussing strategy on the way to the ring. So it's almost main event time. It is imminent now. And surprisingly, we've got Carlito and Chris Masters who are on the same page here. Despite being opponents in this four-way match, it looks like they may be teaming up to take it to Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. So these two, for now, are on the same page. And a good segment from these two as they head into the main event. And then we've got a quick angle here with Shawn Michaels, who's warming up, ready for the main event. Probably seen walking to the ring as well. And this is it, getting closer every second now to the main event for the four-way match. And then, of course, we just need one to finish off the series here with Kurt Angle shown psyching himself up backstage as well. So nice stuff here from Kurt as we head into our main event then. So this is the four-way match a main event of Monday Night Raw, and the winner of this becomes the #1 contender to John Cena's WWE Championship. Who's it going to be? Well, first, before we get to it, we've got one bonus segment here where John Cena himself arrives because he will be on the commentary desk for this match. So, crowd no doubt hyped to see John as he comes here to call this main event match, which we're just about to get to. And there it is. So, Kurt Angle is the one who walks out with the win here, defeating Shawn Michaels, Carlito, and Chris Masters by getting the Angle Slam on Chris Masters. I think we had set this up for a storytelling match. I can't quite remember now. But either way, we didn't expect the best match from this, but I think the segment, considering the kind of level of overness and experience we've got here, is kind of where we would expect it. So this is some good stuff here. But yeah, the fact that we don't have a storyline associated with this just yet is the major thing that's probably holding this back. And I wasn't ready to show my hand just yet on what the storylines are going to be with this setup yet, but rest assured, when we get to New Year's Revolution, that will become a lot clearer. Just the fact that there's so limited time to really kind of set up the various players and pieces here. Again, we just had to make a few sacrifices, so it will be a slow start for this first episode. I am expecting that to pick up, but the most important thing is we have our #1 contender. It will be Kurt Angle and John Cena at New Year's Revolution. No Elimination Chamber match on this version of the card, so that is what we are looking at. But before we go off the air, we've got a bonus segment here because Kurt Angle gets in Cena's face. Remember, Cena's at the commentary desk, and they get into it and brawl all the way to the backstage area. So these two doing what they can to build the story ahead of New Year's Revolution, ahead of the pay-per-view, in a nice segment here. And just as we're about to go off the air, well, what do you know? We've got Edge and Lita smiling backstage as they watch this chaos unfold on a backstage monitor. So who knows what they've got in mind, what they've got in store. But that is it for our first episode of Monday Night Raw. And as we hit the finish button there, we've got an overall rating of 75, which doesn't seem too bad to me. It's deep in the green, so that's certainly kind of where we want to be. Overall, we did have some weak segments, especially with some of the wrestlers and performers here that need to improve their overness and their skills as well. But hopefully we'll be set up with this show to get some of the storylines in place to really start supporting these workers now and give them the kind of platform they need to succeed. So that is it for Monday, week 1 of January 2006. That was the very first episode of CelJaded playing TEW. That is Monday Night Raw. I do hope you enjoyed it. In terms of the YouTube video itself, like, seriously, don't bother subscribing, don't bother liking or sharing this or anything. Just have a good day, and I will see you next time.